Last week, a YouTuber had a mild stroke live on camera during a show. Immediately when I heard about it, I thought about the financial planning implications. I'll share those and more with you coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, I don't know if you saw this headline, but last week, actually on Valentine's Day, a Indiana YouTuber, Mock from Mock and Daisy, had a mild stroke live on camera during the show. And Mock and Daisy, they don't record in the exact same venue. They're video chatting through the video, and so she has a stroke and even calls it out. I think I'm having a stroke, and then they had to cut. It was scary. My wife tried to show me the video, and I've got a weak stomach, and I'm just sort of a geek like that. So I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. But very alarming. And here's the thing. I immediately, this is just how I'm wired. I immediately think financial planning implications, because I don't know why I'm wired that way, but early on I heard this saying that, there's three types of people out there. Ones that can learn a lesson from reading it, others that can learn a lesson from, observing it or watching others go through it. And then there's the rest of us that sort of just need to experience it ourselves. And we learn our lessons best that way. And to me, I've always tried to learn lessons from reading it or from observing others. And I looked at that example and thought, oh my goodness, what would I do if something like that happened to me or one of the clients that I serve? And again, I thought of immediate financial planning implications. So before, obviously, Mock had no idea that was going to happen. She had no symptoms, and thankfully, she got checked out, went straight to the hospital, got checked out, and everything, came back clear, and they're going to monitor her and make sure it doesn't happen again, that sorts of stuff. But apparently she even said, I'm going out on a date with my husband that night. It was Valentine's Day. So she seemed fine, but financially there are implications. So before you have a sudden health event like that, unexpected, unplanned, what should you make sure you have in order? To me, when I heard that Mock had a stroke, I immediately thought disability insurance. Disability insurance. If she doesn't have proper disability insurance in place, it's going to be very difficult to get that insurance in place now that she now has to answer that as part of her health history. But also because you just don't know. When you have a stroke, I don't know if you've experienced this through friends or family members. I have vicariously through clients where they have a stroke and initially doctors aren't sure exactly why or what happened, and tests check out, and then it recurs. I mean, there's something underlying that caused this. And so likely it's possible if the stroke, if it is caused by some underlying condition and it happens again and again, it might enable her from working. She might not be able to work anymore. And if you don't have proper disability insurance in place, how are you going to be able to provide a living or offset the income that you used to make while you were working if you're unable to do so? So before you have a big health emergency, and I would ask you this right now, have you looked at your disability insurance coverage recently to ensure that you've got proper coverage, that you've done that sort of fire drill to say, if something were to happen, I know nothing will happen, but if something were to happen, this is what it would look like financially, and we've got appropriate coverage. The second thing that I think about, especially connected with a sudden health event like that with a stroke, is what if the condition continues and you end up needing care? What if Mock hadn't had a clean, health kind of review after the incident, and this was recurring and got to the point where she needed care? A client that I care about deeply and have helped serve along with some other members of my team for well over a decade is someone that, just out of the blue, found out he had a brain tumor. And the doctors, this was 20 years ago, said, all right, we've got to operate, and the surgery's going to kill you or the treatment will eventually. And thankfully, he made it through surgery and the initial treatment. That's great. And he's far outlived the doctor's original predictions. But he has strokes on an ongoing basis, and his health is really deteriorating. And just over the past couple of years, he's reached the point where he can no longer care for himself. His spouse was still working to provide income for the family. They're on disability insurance, thankfully, but she was still working to provide additional income for the family. But she's had to stop working to care for him. And in addition to that, the care is really wearing on her. The second thing that I thought of was long-term care insurance. Is there a plan if this stroke leads to continued care or the need for continued care? Do you have long-term care insurance in place? So again, trying to learn from other people's experiences, I would ask you, do that fire drill right now. Are you at an age where you should consider that risk and get a game plan in place, even if it is, you know what, we've done the analysis and we think we're self-insured, or we think we're, with some of the social insurance in place, we're okay, we don't need long-term care insurance. Have that conversation as opposed to just saying, well, I mean, we'll roll the dice, let's hope nothing happens. Have the proactive conversation before something were to happen to say, if such event happens, do we have a plan in place, or what would the circumstances, what would the consequences be? And then lastly, before you have a sudden health event, you want to make sure that you've got all of your life insurance and that full protection plan in place. Because now for this individual, this YouTuber, who now, if she didn't have the right life insurance in place and has kids or other reasons why she should get life insurance or needs life insurance, now anytime she goes to apply, she's going to have to answer yes. I had a seizure. That is one of the many questions that they're going to ask anytime you apply for life insurance is, have you ever had certain events happen to you or happen to your family? And one of them is, have you ever had a seizure? And she's going to have to say yes and write an explanation, and that's going to be a hurdle that she'll need to get over in order to get new life insurance in place if she needs it, or she might need to pay more or might even be denied, right? So before you have a sudden health event, and again, you have no idea when such event would occur, but do the fire drill. If something were to happen right now, do you have proper life insurance for your situation and the way you anticipate your finances changing in the foreseeable future? Do you have the proper coverage should something happen to you? So again, thankfully, this YouTuber is fine. Apparently the doctors have said everything's okay and will monitor for ongoing symptoms or underlying causes. But thankfully, she's okay. Use this then as an example for you, for myself, to run through and say, well, if a sudden health event like that happened to me, do I have the right disability coverage to protect my income if I'm unable to work? Do I have the right long-term care insurance plan in place so that if I end up needing care because of said incident, we've got the right structure in our finances to provide that care without it creating unnecessary financial hardship, okay? And then 3, do I have the right life insurance in place that because of this health event, if I'm unable to get life insurance in the future or it's cost prohibitive to do so, I've got the right coverage already set up. Those questions and then others like estate plan and some other things are appropriate given seeing someone go through this. So work on that with your CFP. Make sure that you do that fire drill, if you will, to make sure you've got the right coverage, the right plan in place. That's the job of your CFP. Work with them on it. If you don't have a CFP on your team that can help you with that, you can always contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.